So we had a slight bit of an issue with my bike. Things like coolant issues and starting up trouble and all of that had kicked in. And I took it to KTM and we kind of started sorting out what the minor problems could be, which was the oil seals and smaller things basically. And when we started refilling the coolant back into the radiator, um, what we dreaded was exactly what happened, which is basically great. Little too fast for your own brakes, brother. So so what we dreaded is exactly what happened because while he was filling the coolant in, the the bubbles started to show up, which is not supposed to be happening because when the bubbles show up into the radiator while you're filling the coolant and to a very excessive amount, there's basically that basically means your head gasket's blown. So when the head gasket was blown, we were still all right because it's not a major job. You open it's a normal thing to happen over time. So you open out the engine head, replace the gaskets, and you're good to go. It is a tedious job, but nothing too major. The gasket's cheap as well for the KTM's, not too expensive. But yeah, that's that. But through that, the guy that was working on my bike basically even told me that your it was basically the counterbalancer that had kind of worn out, and there was coolant mixing out there as well. All the parts that we opened up, he opened up the gasket, he showed me the gasket, he showed me the engine head, and it was just that gasket where things were mixing. And I think touch wood that we kind of caught the problem in time and it wasn't going on for too long, because if the coolant mixes with the engine oil for too long, you could massively screw up your block piston, and that's much worse a job than just this. But having the engine being rebuilt again and knowing you've got the job done once for good kind of puts you at peace as well. So we went ahead with it, and I'll show you how things played out. So now for a while I'm gonna have to run my bike I'm gonna basically have to run it in again, and that basically means that I sort of have to low RPM it, and nowhere close to a high RPM, nowhere close to it, because the engine's just been put back together. All the parts have just been fitted, friction is extremely high, so the engine's just been put back together. And forget redlining it, I am trying to baby it at like 6,000 RPMs, as you see right now maybe. So every year I'm kind of placing myself at 6,000 RPMs to run the engine in, to break it in again, so that the break-in is smooth. I did it on my previous bike as well, because my previous bike was brand new. It was an R15, and I broke it in as much as I wanted to kind of pull that bike, in its early stages. I resisted the urge, and trust me guys, when over the course of the 5 years that I owned that bike, every single person that sat on that bike was like, man, this engine is butter smooth. And it's well worth the wait, it's well worth the reliability that it gives you later on. It's well worth my mental peace. So that's the reason I do not want to mess around with breaking the bike in. Secondly, I have to slowly start opening the bike little by little, so it gives the bike a chance to breathe as well. Because I'm going to take it to reclamation and give it a slight bit of a run. Nothing too crazy at all. It does 145 like a joke, so I have no plans on doing anything like that, because that's just gonna not be the best for the health of the engine in the initial stages of the break-in. So I'm gonna try and keep it somewhere around 100, 120 at the max. And here is where I can start pushing the bike a little bit, see how it's doing, how well it's responding. Nothing too wild, but just giving her a chance to breathe, sort of thing. Okay. This should be a good test for the audio while there's like a lot of wind. I am high up in the gears and not doing anything too wild. I can barely see what my speedo is doing right now because there's too much sun being reflected. But I have some crazy amount of fucking flies on my windshield, on my visor, if you want to call it. I was already in 6th gear and that was too high a gear anyways, so it's not like I'm pulling it too hard. Do not try this at home, my friends. It's a freaking jungle out there. Keeping all the gears at 6000 RPMs. I really wish they hadn't shut this little intersection where I could have just merged onto the highway. Such a tempting sight that and it's a shame that I unfortunately have to go down below, take the next elevation and connect to the highway. I can't wait to break the engine in and get my oil change done, because I know for a fact that's going to make a world, and I mean a world of a difference to the performance of the bike. I can tell right now that it's still in its phases of trying to breathe and trying to kind of be its character that it is, but that one engine oil should be exactly what's needed. You know, that one flush where all the particles get wiped out is exactly what she needs right now, and I can feel it when I ride. You know, once you connect with your bike, it's not very difficult to know how it responds, know what the engine's doing. Oh Jesus, this guy doesn't know there's a fucking, there you go, he's gonna bounce into my lane. Alright, so it's fairly windy right now. It's super windy, I would say, and I really want to see if it's filtering out the wind noise or not, or if it's still going to be a task for me and I'm going to face issues. This is a wild stretch to do some crazy shit, but I don't want to do that. This is for my audio test, nothing else. So yeah. And secondly, I'm babying the engine right now. I'm really kind of itching to get this bike back to the way I used to ride it, because it's a very, very high revving bike. It's not supposed to be ridden in the low RPMs a lot. I mean, that's the reason it's not suitable, not too suitable for the city. It's got extremely choppy acceleration. It's extremely aggressive, and it's just not happy in the low RPMs, you know. It's going to be snappy at you. It's going to kind of be like, hey, 3000 is not good enough, Nigo. You need to kind of pull beyond 6. So it's beyond 6 where the fun really begins to happen. People drive like absolute numbnuts. Check this guy out. He's got his left indicator on and he's taking a right turn. Welcome to fucking Bombay, guys. It's a freaking jungle out there. Big shout out to my boy Oggy. That guy is by far one of the best YouTubers in India, motovloggers actually, in India. He's always a pleasure to watch. He's always got the best fucking content out there. And yeah, big shout out to you, bro. And yeah, he makes some good stuff. You guys should go check him out. I'm gonna put the links in the description and probably even in the video. So you guys go have fun. Check that out. Wow. There you go, you've got a fucking BST trying to make a U-turn. I don't know why somebody would ever fucking think of that. Like what even and why? Hello kids, say hi. You guys are the future bikers. You've got two little kids on the scooty in front of me who are pretty much oblivious of what the fuck is going on around them. So I don't want to mess with them and I want to keep my distance. I am beginning to get super hungry because it's lunchtime and I am out making this video, recording some content for you guys. All the love to you all. Show me the love by liking the video, commenting, giving me your thoughts, your feedback, subscribing to the channel. It really helps a ton. We're still very small and we're trying to grow. So it's only with the love of you guys that we can make this happen, just like we made Instagram happen.